Hello and welcome to Gist with Top Accolade. I am Jonathan Powai. And thank you for joining us today as we celebrate a significant moment in the history of Nigeria. The Independence Day. On October 1st, as we all know, in 1960, Nigeria emerged as a sovereign nation free from colonial rule. Now, taking a journey back in time, Nigeria was once a British colony, and it took years of struggle and sacrifices by visionary leaders to gain freedom. So, Nigeria's diverse ethnic groups and regions faced political and social complexities. However, through negotiations and a commitment to unity, Nigeria achieved independence peacefully. So, Independence Day in Nigeria is a day of great celebration, and the entire nation comes alive with parades, cultural displays, and vibrant festivities. So, today, Nigeria is not just a symbol of independence, but also a dynamic nation with a growing economy, a rich cultural heritage, and a vibrant art scene. So it plays a significant role on the African and global stages. But amidst every acknowledgement, a very good number of Nigerians object to the independence celebration. They are emphasizing valid concerns and factors like economic challenges, political instability, ethnic and religious tensions, corruption, resource mismanagement, inadequate infrastructure, youth unemployment, you can name it all, lack of access to basic services, and several others. So today, we will be reviewing these factors, connecting to the significance of celebrating the independence. Now, joining with me on the show to unravel this is an eminent social analyst, a present director of agricultural development of Nigeria Youth Congress, Abuja, Mr. Iyaje Emmanuel Amedo. You are welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we will be going on a short break right now. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us, and it has been an amazing time, the independence and every other thing available with us. So it's a point of concern. Yes. It's a point of understanding that some citizens don't even want to celebrate the independence. So that is why we have Mr. Emmanuel in our midst to unravel the situations with us. So, coming from a point of the importance of celebrating Independence Day, people have several reasons why they celebrate independence, but coming directly to you, to the audience. So, of what importance is the Independence Day celebration?
Very correct. I love where you begin your questions from. Because,
thank you very much.
It is very important we spell out people who does not see Nigerians being worthy of celebration. You get it? We have to go to the root and understand why an individual who is a citizen of a country will find no reason to celebrate the independence of that country.
The root.
That is the height of it. So we need to go to the importance of celebrating independence and the importance of having independence. You get it? When you said independence, from what?
Okay.
You get?
Okay.
When you are talking about freedom from colonial government, it means colonial government was not a beneficial government.
Was not a beneficial government?
Yes. And it's not a kind of government every normal people should prey upon themselves. Because the people will be governed contrary to their perspective.
Contrary?
Yes. The people will be governed contrary to what they are and what they believe and who they are their tradition, their culture, their comfortability is not put into consideration during a colonial government. A colonial government is a kind of government that is brought upon people by foreign government who forcefully engage other people, subjugate them, and control their civilization.
Forcefully?
Yes. A colonial government is a forceful government. Where you as a member of that government system is not considered as a member of the system. Rather, colonial decisions are taken by foreigners. So whenever a people are being able to break out of such forces of colonization, which is a forceful government brought upon a people by foreigners, just like the British people colonized Nigeria. They did not come to do us favor by colonizing us. No. They came after us because they got insight that we have a lot of mineral resources.
You have your point.
We have a lot of marketable advantage to them. They came to us to forcefully take us into captivity, exploited our society. So, let me tell you something. The colonization of Nigeria is one of the most special colonization in the world.
One of the most special?
Yes, one of the most special.
You have your
I have read history of colonization of several countries. Okay? Lord Lugard, who was brought in to amalgamate Nigerian, is not just a mercenary. He's not just an ordinary person as far as colonization is concerned. He was transferred from Hong Kong as a colonial governor to Nigeria. Go and read the profile of Lugard. So Nigeria, because of our numerous resources, which the British government have identified, and they were very keen to maintain access to those resources. Nobody who is milking your society, who is freely establishing companies in your soil and want to leave the governance of that society to you will be happy about it. Which means whenever they want to leave it to you, they must leave it in a special way that will still be beneficial to them. I'm coming. Okay. I will link it to import. So I am trying to say that when somebody becomes self-governance, becomes self-rule, that is, they have the liberty to enact laws upon themselves and govern their society by themselves, it is worthy of celebration, because that is a great era for development. But as for Nigeria, we never had such transformation. If we are supposed to be celebrating an independent day, we should question ourselves. What were the things that were wrong during the colonial era that we have changed so far when we become self-ruled?
That is a good point.
Yes. So if we cannot see any difference, if we cannot see any positive changes we have made to our society by ourselves when it is under a control of us as a people, then we shouldn't be celebrating that we broke out from foreign governance, because it is still the colonial ideology we are governing ourselves with. So a continuation of a colonially instituted laws cannot define independence.
So you are saying
we never have independence.
If we track back from where we got independence to this present moment, we should be able to find several
changes that we deliberately made that is in favor of us, that was not in favor of the white, that was against us when they were ruling us. So when they made laws for us, I'll give you an instance. The security model of Nigeria that we are using today is being designed by the British. You get it? The British are foreigners. They come with foreign police to secure our society, right? They bring in foreigners, strangers from different places to secure our states. You get it? Because they are not indigenes. Which means their target is not to secure us, the indigene. They are protecting themselves from us. They were building that security system to protect themselves from us, the blacks. So having gotten an independence, why are we operating our security system in that same manner of colonialization? I'm coming.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, you have the commissioner of police in Rivers State. He's not from Rivers State. So why should you transfer somebody from Kano to come and be a commissioner of police in Rivers State? Meanwhile, we know that you cannot secure somewhere you don't know.
Well,
I'm coming. I want to land somewhere else.
Oh, definitely.
Get me right.
Definitely.
Now, what is wrong if you employ an indigene of Rivers State as the commissioner of police? You employ an indigene of Shoba as the DPO of Shoba. He knows the criminal history of Shoba.
People from the land.
He is from the place. All the police that are working with him are from the same places. They are protecting their parents, their families, their properties. They are commissioned to guide and protect the lives of their relatives. This security model, we will understand that it is indigenously designed to protect us. Because that man that is the DPO of Shoba, he knows who stole 11 years ago.
Definitely.
You get it?
Definitely.
So we are continuing to rule ourselves by the model designed by the colonial masters, and we are celebrating independence. How can it work?
So you say that out of these considerations,
Yes.
we have to look deeply before celebrating the independence.
Yes.
Well, this is good. A good point of view from you, and we want to say stay tuned. Please, we would go on a short break right now. Don't go anywhere. Yes, welcome back to the show. It has been a heated one because the Independence Day is a very important day for Nigerians, and we need to know several considerations on how it should be celebrated and also why it should be celebrated. So moving on with Mr. Emmanuel, and you know, people want to celebrate, but some reasons behind might want to make them do it any way they want. But I believe there should be an ideal way of celebrating the independence.
Yes.
So to you, how do you suggest that the independence should be celebrated?
Good question. One thing I want you to know about celebration is a natural thing. When people celebrate, they must see the obvious reasons why they are celebrating. And if there are no obvious reasons, it becomes self-deceit to celebrate illusion or to celebrate failure. Have you ever seen someone celebrating failure?
Never.
You can't force people to celebrate
At all.
You get it? If people can obviously see at least one reason to celebrate, no matter how small it is, they will celebrate. How can you be celebrating an independence of a country on a borrowed form?
On a borrowed form?
Yes, you are borrowing money to celebrate your freedom. What kind of freedom is it that does not reflect on your finance? What kind of freedom is it that you have gotten in 1960 that you are celebrating after how many years that you are not reflecting it or connecting it to your financial status?
Stability also.
Yes, irrespective of available mineral resources that you could explore. I think we should not be celebrating independence.
To your perspective.
Yes. Independence Day is not a day to have the military parading with empty stomach.
That's a consideration.
No, you can't be running around with empty stomach. People are starving in your country. It requires you to go into solace. To me, I see the Independence Day as a day Nigerians should depend a 1 month holiday for people to, yes, it calls for it. For us to connect to our history. There must be a period of time in our life when everybody in this country have have to look back into the history of our country collectively. That is, let us ask ourselves, what is this that these colonial white people did to us that is wrong?
I want to address the point where you said the history. You know, if you look at it that way, why was the history of Nigeria as a subject removed from the secondary school?
I'm going to that point. Okay. Now let me tell you something. Okay. When people can, that is, if we have stayed without history for more than 60 years.
Okay.
A month is not even enough. What are you studying when you don't know the history? You don't know the history of the problems you want to solve? Do you understand me?
I'm listening.
Let me tell you something you mentioned and why I brought about our history. Because it is only when we know the intention of the white people that came to colonize us, and only when we know how much damages they caused to our society, consciously, yes, not coincidentally, that is when we should know deliberate measures and steps that we can take collectively as a people to solve those problems. Because they came with education, they came with religion.
Okay.
If a white man can come from Britain as at 100 years ago or 200 years ago to Nigeria to build a school as a missionary, and they call it missionary schools, why are they not coming now? Why are the missionaries not coming any longer when we needed them the most?
You feel we need them the most now?
Yes! We need more missionary schools of aviation in this country.
Of aviation?
Yes!
That's just one sector.
Yes! We need them to come and educate us. If they actually were interested, they did not come to educate us what will make us masters of our own. They did not come to educate us because they are our colonial masters who are interested in enslaving us. They can never feed us with information that is meant for the slave master. So, if our education system is continued with the initiative brought by a British colonialist, who is coming to tell us that the River Niger that my father was bathing inside, that my great-grandfather was fishing inside, all of a sudden became discovered by Mungo Park. So, you can tell your child that the River Niger, whom your forefathers have rich history along, is now discovered by Mungo Park.
So, are you saying there is...
I'm coming. It means there is a missing rib. There is a missing knot that is not connecting.
In the history.
In our history, in our society. A lot of things, they were bringing that education system to brainwash us, to teach us things that are not connecting us to our immediate environment.
That's
because if we become, education is all about connecting to your immediate environment with wisdom to solve problems. That is science. Science requires a targeted problem to be solved. So you cannot be telling a child who is growing up to become hungry, who is growing up to face unemployment, who is growing up to face an insecure society. You are now telling the child at primary 4 that the fastest animal on earth is cheetah. How old is that child going to ride cheetah? And you claim to be educating them.
So with all that I've expressed, or that you have expressed, are you saying there is a watered down history of Nigeria?
Yes.
And there is a truth of the history of Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay, that means should I say that if we were given the opportunity to write our own history of Nigeria, we would write something else?
Completely different.
Okay.
In the history of Nigeria that I know, killing was not moral before the white men came with Christianity to tell us thou shalt not kill.
Okay.
Do you get me? We were honoring our fathers and our mothers before they came to tell us that we should honor our father and mother. So, if somebody is coming to look down on you, I will give you a connection. Okay? Take a look at everything that we do in this country that is not borrowed from a white man.
Okay.
You get it? Everything we do in this country, take a look at our food. I'll start from our food.
The local...
Yes, the local food we eat. Akpu was not invented by a white man at all. Egusi soup was not invented by a white man. Oha soup was not invented by a white man. Now, in our vegetable lines of consumption, our forefathers have a medicinal value for every vegetable they consume.
A medicinal value?
Yes. And that is how they protect and preserve their health.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Okay.
There is civilization in the food we are eating. Ordinarily, by scientific disposition, cassava wouldn't have been consumable because cassava contains cyanide, which is a poisonous acid.
Okay.
Our forefathers did not study chemistry from any university, but they know how to process cassava. They know how to soak it inside water, knowing fully well that when acid is
to eject the acid.
Yes. They ejected the acid. They did not start consuming it. They have to cook it because they know that fermented starch does not digest. After cooking it with subjecting heat to the cassava, they did not consume it. They have to cook egusi soup, which have palm oil, which have fish, which have vegetables. That is, they were able to mix all the 6 classes of food together in egusi soup and cassava.
Without even the white man.
Yes, without the white man coming to instruct them. So take a look at how far we have evolved in our delicacies that was not invented by white people. Take a look at Afrobeats. Take a look at Afro music. How successful it is. Was it taught by white people?
You have a good consideration, but the point.
Look at our streets.
Okay.
A Nigerian child who is not recruited by any army can pick up a gun and become a terrorist and can even challenge the sovereignty of the state.
It's a good consideration, but I want to get to that point where you said the celebration should water down that we should have a 1 month orientation, a historical
national orientation. So that is, everybody in this country should be inquisitive about the history of everything they have been told. We should question everything we have believed so far. Because let me tell you something. We have professors of economics in Nigeria. They cannot solve any of our problems. Do you know why? When you are studying economic principles that were erected by Abraham Lincoln, Lionel Robinson, and other Western researchers who did not consider the economy of Nigeria when they were carrying out their researches. Such economic model by such professor cannot be adopted here, and it works.
This is taking us to the...
Do you understand me?
Okay.
There is a need for us to indigenously develop ideas towards solving the problems we are having. So that we will not have over 6 million youths who know the scientific name of rice, but nobody is producing the rice.
You have a good consideration which will be spoken about, but when we are also talking about the government, which is the ideal history of Nigeria, good, because if we say the Westerners told us our own history,
yes.
Now, would you say the government have done well since independence, or since when we've gotten independence?
Good question.
Up to this date.
Good question. If we all know what a government and a self-government means, we will all agree that we have never had a government
At all?
Yes.
From your perspective?
Yes, and from obvious perspective.
Okay.
You get it? When you have independence, it means the authority and the mantle for the people to elect who govern them, and the ideology by which they are governed is supposed to be rooted from the people.
From the people?
Yes.
Well, because of our time, because of we are far against time, we want to say that it has been a heated moment on the Independence Day and celebration, because there are several perspectives to it. So we want to tell you and plead, thanks for joining us today in commemorating the significance of Nigeria history, which is the Independence Day. So we want to say happy Independence Day to Nigeria, and don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles, and please do have a wonderful day.